Hari Hari.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue reading from this beautiful book, The Nectarean Ocean of the Holy Name by Sacinandana Swami. We are on this sixth chapter titled as The Tips to Improve One's Chanting. And we saw the importance of chanting Panchatattva Mahamantra. And also we saw chanting everywhere. Now we will get into the next part. Chanting at all times. One day, Vallabha Bhatta said to Advaita Acharya, every living entity is female, Prakriti, and considers Krishna her husband, Pati. It is the duty of a chaste wife devoted to her husband not to utter her husband's name. But all of you chant the name of Krishna. How can this be called a religious principle? Advaita Acharya responded, in front of you is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the personification of religious principles. You should ask him, for he will give you the proper answer. Hearing this, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Vallabha Bhatta, you do not know religious principle. Actually, the first duty of a chaste woman is to carry out the order of her husband. The order of Krishna is to chant his name incessantly. Therefore, one who is chaste and adherent to the husband Krishna, Krishna, must chant the Lord's name, for she cannot deny the husband's order. Following this religious principle, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna always chants the holy name. As a result of this, he gets the fruit of ecstatic love for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada once wrote to Professor Stahl, by devotional service, by understanding well the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can go to his abode and never come back again to the material world. How is it possible? The answer is simply by chanting this name constantly. That's a extract from Prabhupada's teachings. Now continuing, have you ever thought of chanting Hare Krishna constantly? So Maharaj is asking this question. Maybe sometimes when reading about it, but then it is forgotten again. Therefore, we should engrave this advice deeply into our memory. The reason why chanting constantly appears so difficult is the lack of taste, as Prabhupada explains. This is Prabhupada's word. A devotee should be very much careful to see whether his time is being spent unnecessarily. He should ask himself, am I now engaged in Maya's service or Krishna's service? This is a symptom of an advanced devotee. Nama Ghane Sadha Ruchihi. Such a devotee is never tired of chanting, singing, or dancing. The word Sadha means always, and Ruchi means taste. A devotee always has a taste for chanting Hare Krishna. Oh, very nice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is taste. Of course, this taste takes time to awaken, but when Rupa Goswami was chanting, he was thinking, I have only one tongue and two ears. What can I appreciate of chanting? If I could have millions of tongues and trillions of ears, then I could release something by chanting and hearing. Of course, we should not imitate him. But the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement must at least be very careful to complete their 16 rounds, their minimum amount of prescribed chanting. Nama Ghane Sada Ruchihi. We have to increase our taste for chanting and singing and chanting Hare Krishna. This taste can be achieved simply by chanting more and more. Once Srila Prabhupada proudly praised his disciples, these devotees, they can chant constantly 24 hours a day. They are completely satisfied with it. Such devotees Srila Prabhupada wanted to see. Okay, we can continue one more section and then we can open up for any questions. So, but the mode is, the topic is different. So far, um, it's clear. It is good we are chanting a prescribed nouns. Sometimes we are not, there are still devotees who are not chanting 16 rounds yet. They are aspiring and they are slowly, gradually going there. And then those who are already chanting 16 rounds, um, the point here is if we are satisfied with only 16 rounds, then according to Prabhupada, there's a lack of taste in chanting. Uh, if you want to, if you know whether we have taste for chanting or not, then that means it's not just 16 rounds, it's more than 16 rounds one has to chant. So just couple of last week, I believe, few days back, a very nice devotee, uh, His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhu. He lives in Farmington Hills in Michigan. We are good friends. He called me a few days back. As in the conversation goes, this question he asks often to me. We have nice relationship. He asked, Lal, how was your sadhana going? I said, trying my best. How many rounds are you chanting? I know he's going to ask this question. Uh, Then I told Prabhu, I know you're going to ask this question. I know what's the third question you're going to ask. So I'm chanting minimum rounds. He said, okay. Because according what he does is a very beautiful thing. He does is he tries to inspire people to chant more rounds, increase more rounds. Anyway, so these pages is very clear that the more we chant, the more we get closer to Krishna. But it's just not just the number, how many rounds you're chanting, and 32 rounds, 64 rounds, but there's not even a little bit of focus or concentration. So that is also important. We are not here into making number of rounds, number marathon, you know, that's not the idea. Anyway, so it's very clear. But for us to increase that number of rounds, eventually, gradually, more than 16 rounds. Here is another section chanting in the morning. Morning is the best time to hold spiritual services. Srila Prabhupada writes, a time shortly before sunrise, called Brahma Muhurta, is the best time for chanting. It is recommended that the devotee rise very early and chants in a peaceful and concentrated atmosphere. If at all possible, the round should be finished before 10 o'clock a.m., your local time, by the way. This morning hours are ruled by the mode of goodness, the afternoon and the early evening by the mode of passion, and the night by mode of ignorance. One should chant his rounds during the time which is under the influence of goodness and avoid chanting later in the day. Otherwise, it will be difficult to concentrate and go swiftly ahead. Two more paragraphs, short ones. If due to sickness one cannot complete his rounds, then they must be finished immediately the very next day. However, someone who is well should never go to sleep without having completed his rounds. Last paragraph. Of course, there are also other processes of bhakti yoga, as have been mentioned earlier. It is certainly a matter of individual taste to which process one is more attracted. Let us look into the minimum amount of rounds, and that will be for tomorrow's reading. So, here, however, someone who is well should never go to sleep without having completed his round. So, morning time is the best time to chant. We all know this. We constantly read and hear about this. but we have to make into practice, implementation. And another last point from here is the last part. This is in relation to Kanta Rao's question yesterday. One of his one of the devotees were only interested in only interested in kirtan and not in lectures and so forth. The last paragraph says there are other processes of bhakti yoga, as have been mentioned earlier. It is certainly a matter of individual taste to which process one is more attracted. So that's also important thing. But one should chant minimum prescribed rounds once they have taken the vow after during the initiation. Then they chant 16 rounds every day. But they may be interested to do other services. There could be someone who may be interested more chanting. So everything is fine. I'll pause here. We have 4 minutes to open up for any discussions. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Or any realization points anyone wants to add. Have you all taken put internally without my knowledge, put a roster that today I will open the video, tomorrow you open the video, something like that? But anyway, I like it. Thank you. You're trying to keep me happy.
Hare Krishna.
Here is another beautiful point. I don't want to make this as a joke or anything, but in that chanting at all time where Vallabha Bhatta says, you should not chant your husband's name. This is old days. They don't know 2025 how we are all here. She cannot deny us. The order of Krishna is to chant his name, so we can chant Krishna's name.
Hare
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Questions, yes.
Prabhu, one question, Prabhu. So, suppose while we have other services, so we are unable to complete on that day minimum rounds. How that will work it out, Prabhu?
You have to do your minimum rounds and take up services.
Minimum rounds and take up
You
service.
have to give preference to this is similar to your questions, yesterday's questions. Pretty same. At any cost, whatever we are committed to, we have to chant that day. Then comes everything else. If we cannot finish that round, then you have to make adjustment to that service. If you are not able to do it. So service is important, but what sustains the service is our chanting. Therefore, without chanting, we get engaged in too many services, then that service is not going to last long.
Correct, Prabhu. Generally, we use it to do, but that day, if you have a busy schedule, uh, like, I saw Hare Krishna Prabhu yesterday, he mentioned his experience with you. That's very nice. In that case, like, you planned such a way to finish your round within 24 hours, in the day. So if our health is not supported in that, we do some service and we did not get a chance to finish it um, before 12. So in that case,
That's okay. 12 is, don't stick on to the 12 number.
oh,
Finish it and go to sleep. It's okay.
oh, even like it won't be.
Even one thing is that we are not going to be penalized. We are not going to be punished for crossing 12 o'clock midnight if he couldn't finish because of other reason, etc. And Krishna is not a military man where he checks on the time when you log in, when you log out. Is for our own purification and show how much we follow Krishna's instructions and how much we love him. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just told to Vallabhacharya, the order of Krishna is to chant. No, therefore, one who is chaste and adherent to the husband Krishna must chant Lord's name, for she cannot deny husband's order. This is for chanting. And the same thing for any instruction that Krishna has given. Krishna has given all instruction for us to follow. I'm just following his instruction. When the something is not be able to do, Krishna doesn't take into a take a thunderbolt and going to hit on us. It's not like that. But at the same time, we should not be taking advantage of Krishna's compassion also. So we have to balance with these things.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We have to just understand Krishna as a loving, respectable father. So what happens, this is a parenting thing, and this is every one of you all does this one, even in other relationships also. You may be very friendly, very jovial, very nice, but then you also have a respect to that person. You may have someone in your life, you have a very good relationship with that person, very close, but then also have little bit of that uh, not respect, but fear mixed respect to the same person, right? So that's exactly how Krishna is. Krishna is very loving. We have that little fear um, with respect mixed. So don't worry about the passing 12 o'clock, 12 a.m. Krishna is going to see the mood of what you're doing, not into the time-based thing. But my also advice is that you also plan your day properly so that you don't get into the midnight program where Maharaj says that it's just get into Rajo Tamoguna mode of midnight, the night by mode of ignorance. But circumstances are there, then we have to chant. We still have to chant in the night time and finish it. Okay, it's 5:32. Thank you all very much. Is it okay, Kantaro?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you have any question, we can continue tomorrow. You all have a wonderful rest of the day in Krishna consciousness. And we'll meet again tomorrow, 5 a.m. Central Time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.